Hello, and thank you for tuning in once again. I am the Pied Piper. As always, this is a Rob G production. Today, I would like to do a tech review for two items. One is an Intel Wi-Fi wireless card 802.11/AC. And the second item is a dual band router, the Netgear Nighthawk AC 1900. Now, the Nighthawk is awesome. It's the best router I've ever owned. Very, very fast, very nice signal. We'll get into all that in a second. Okay, if you've watched any of my videos before, I've bought a Z-Box, and I use the Z-Box for watching Blu-ray ISOs. I didn't want to run an Ethernet cord, so I tried my wireless router, and I tried to set it up, to do it over Wi-Fi. Now, Blu-rays, if you're unfamiliar with it, now has high bit rate, meaning that they need a certain amount of speed to be able to play fluidly over the network. So basically you're talking like up to 50 megabytes per second, maybe a little higher for 3D Blu-ray, whatever. Anyway, I tried to use the Wi-Fi and Blu-ray was choppy. Playback failed. It wasn't very good at all. So I ran an Ethernet cord, which fixed all my problems. Well, I started to have problems with my Wi-Fi signal upstairs with my tablet and stuff like that, and it just got bothersome. So I decided to go out and buy a new router. Now, some of the specs of this router: it's an AC ABGNN router, 1900 megabytes per second on the ACA part. It's 600 megabytes per second on the 2.4 gigahertz and 1900 on the 5 gigahertz with beamforming or whatever. Now, it's also got a dual core 1 gigahertz processor. It's got extreme range amplification in it. Comes with 3 antennas. It's got USB 3.0 so that you can add a hard drive to it, plug it right in, add it to the network, no problem. If you're one of the viewers that has an Xbox One or an Xbox 360, it's already set up for auto priority for those. It's an iTunes server for any of you guys out there that use iTunes. It is an iTunes server. It has QoS, no lag for online gaming. Very, very nice. It's got HD beamforming for the entire house, so that the signal is just as strong right next to the router as it is upstairs. And something that was very, very interesting to me. If you have an iPad and you want to use, wirelessly print something, send it to the printer, it has to be an iPad specific printer to be able to accept that signal. Well, the geniuses over there at Netgear figured that the router was so expensive, you shouldn't have to buy, if you have an iPad, you shouldn't have to buy a printer as well. Brilliant. With an iPad, you can send the signal to the box converts it to the printer and makes it work. Genius on their part. Okay, now back to the Z-Box. The Z-Box had a less than adequate Wi-Fi card in it. So I had the genius idea to buy this router, and when I went online and looked at it, it said it was an AC, and it used 5 gigahertz and had an A. So I thought, well, what card is in my Z-Box? Is it even going to improve any speed? Is it going to improve any connectivity? So I went and looked, and sure enough, it had an outdated Wi-Fi card in it. No AC, no A, just, B, G, and N. And it would not stream or, over the Wi-Fi fast enough to play a high bitrate Blu-ray. I went to an Ethernet, like I said, and fixed the situation. But I didn't want to have to run all those darn cords. So anyway, I received my Nighthawk, and I received my Intel 802 AC Wi-Fi card. Well, I took my Z-Box apart. I don't recommend everybody doing this unless you're familiar with heat sinks and stuff like that. I mean, you could really ruin something. But so I took the side off of my Z-Box. I took the airflow fan off, and which normally you probably wouldn't have to do that. In a laptop, it's probably not. In a very inconvenient place, it's probably convenient. You could probably get right to it, pop it off, and pop the other one on, and everything will be fine. On the Z-Box, though, the air fan was about, or the air system was about this big, and underneath this side was that you couldn't get to the Wi-Fi card. So I pulled that off. I swapped the Wi-Fi card out, and um, I as soon as I did that, I put it all back together, turned it on, and it noticed that it had new Bluetooth and it had new Wi-Fi right away. Now, I went online and I went to Intel and I had them scan my Z-Box or my computer, whatever. I had to scan it so that it found the specific drivers for this card for me, so that there was no mishaps, no misdriver identification thing, nothing like that. So once that was done, everything was running smooth. So I hooked up my router, and when I hooked it up, I set it up, and I decided to try to stream a Blu-ray. Like I said, regular Wi-Fi is supposed to be 2.4 gigahertz at 600 up to 600 megabytes per second. Well, that's crap. 2.4 gigahertz in any situation I tried would not stream a Blu-ray ISO over network. It would not do it, or over Wi-Fi. Over network, fine, through Ethernet. Over Wi-Fi, it would not do it. So I hooked everything up and I gave her a ring. It is brilliant. You're talking no choppy playback. It was smooth as butter, which at 5 gigahertz using the ACA part. Now, one of the things I can say beyond a reasonable doubt is that 2.4 gigahertz for me never worked. Now, out of 600 megabytes per second max speed, you think 50 megabytes per second high bit rate wouldn't be an issue. It always was. Now, of course, going to the 5 gigahertz and using the up to 1900 megabytes per second, asking 50 of it, no big deal. Now, I can't say for certain if I've ever gotten close to 1900 megabytes per second off of the 5 gigahertz, but you know, but the Blu-ray worked. So, you know, if you want full Blu-ray ISO playback over Wi-Fi with no problems, I would suggest getting this Netgear AC 1900 and getting this chip. Now, Bluetooth works awesome on this Wi-Fi chip, and the 5 gigahertz works flawless. Now, I've moved the box upstairs. I brought it down into my basement. You get solid signal wherever it's at, which is outstanding. If you don't want to run cables, this is the way to go. Like I said, it's got HD beamforming for the entire home, the iPad printing. It's just a win-win overall. It really is. And I think that you'll appreciate it. Now, there's a bunch of other features on this router, all kinds, you know. But you know, I would suggest if you have a need for high-speed Wi-Fi, I would suggest getting it. Now, everything on it has worked very well. The USB 3.0 is very fast, sending and receiving files and playing files back. Everything is really nice. The only problem with this that I find is the price. The Wi-Fi card was very cheap, like $27. Was not expensive at all. The router, on the other hand, was $179.99. You can find them on sale from like Newegg and Tiger Direct. Sometimes get a rebate, other times get a discount code. I would suggest holding out for one of those deals if you're very interested in this router. Setup was a breeze. I just plugged everything in, popped it on. You know, it worked right out of the box. Now they give you your Wi-Fi, your SSID name, and your Wi-Fi password and all that right in the instructions. I went in and changed all that and went in and tweaked it a little bit for what I like and how I wanted it set up. Overall, it is a big win if price is not an issue. It was not hard really to swap out the Wi-Fi chip in the Z-Box. If you have a laptop or you have something similar and you want to upgrade its Wi-Fi, no problem. Make sure you go to the Intel site so that you can download the latest drivers and let Intel decide what drivers you get. That way there's no error or no guessing involved. And I realize this is a quick review here, but not much to really say about a router. But if you want high-speed gaming, and you want it to prioritize your streams, and you want to stream full high bitrate Blu-ray movies with HD audio over Wi-Fi, this is the router for you. I am the Pied Piper. As always, this is a Rob G production. Thank you very much for tuning in. There will be more to come. Thank you.